experiences from my life that still don't sit right with me, even years later. All of them happened while I was working night jobs. The first two took place when I worked overnight at a small gas station way out in the middle of nowhere. This was back before every place had cameras watching every inch of the building. Technically, we had some security, but nothing serious. The owner didn't care much, and honestly, neither did I at the time. The job was easy. Too easy. Most nights, it was just me there, from late evening until sunrise. Hardly any customers. Just silence, broken only by the faint hum of the old fluorescent lights buzzing overhead. One night, I was leaning against the counter, flipping through a magazine, trying not to fall asleep. I couldn't tell you the exact time. Nights there all blended together into one long, miserable stretch of boredom. That's why the sound of the front door chiming made me jump. I looked up and saw a man walking in. At first glance, he didn't look unusual. He was tall, solidly built, probably in his early 30s. But then my brain caught up with what my eyes were seeing. He was covered in blood. Not a little, not a smear. It was everywhere, across his chest, streaked along his arms, even on his face. So much that my mind stalled, trying to make sense of it. For a second, I wondered if it was paint. I knew it wasn't. What really scared me weren't the stains. It was his expression. His eyes were empty, completely hollow. He looked calm, relaxed, like this was just another late-night stop for snacks, like he had no idea he was drenched in blood. I froze. I couldn't stop staring at him. Every time I forced myself to look away, my eyes snapped right back to his face. He noticed. Then he smiled. And in the most casual voice imaginable, he said, "Don't worry, it's not my blood." That did nothing to help. Every alarm in my head went off at once. I was convinced this man had just killed someone, and I might be next. Somehow, instinct took over. I acted normal. I nodded like he'd just commented on the weather and buried my face back in the magazine. I watched him wander the aisles, grab a few random items, and come up to the counter. I rang him up without looking him in the eyes. He paid in cash, said nothing else. Then he left. The second I heard a car start outside, I called 911. I told the dispatcher everything. The blood, the man, how wrong it all felt. I was in the middle of explaining when the front door chimed again. My stomach dropped. He was back. This time, he wasn't calm. He stormed up to the counter, furious, demanding to know if I'd called the police. I denied it, but he didn't believe me. He started yelling, cursing, his voice rising as his eyes filled with rage. Before I could react, he launched himself over the counter. 1 second he was shouting, the next his hands were around my throat. I fought like my life depended on it, because it did. We crashed to the floor, rolling, struggling. I could feel blood smearing across my clothes and face. My vision started to blur. In desperation, I screamed that I had a gun. It was a lie, but it worked. He froze, scrambled away, and ran out the door. I lay there shaking until the police arrived. They took my statement and left to look for him. I never heard anything after that. No updates, no news, nothing. I tried to forget it. A few months later, I was still working there. That was my first mistake. One night, another man came in, this one wearing an expensive, perfectly tailored suit. He didn't browse, he didn't speak. He walked straight up to the counter and slid a photograph toward me. It was a picture of the blood-covered man. He asked if I'd ever seen him before. I lied and said no. After a long silence, he took the photo back, walked toward the door, then turned around and said, "I know you're lying." After that, things got worse. I started noticing the same silver SUV everywhere, near work, at the store, even on my street. Weeks later, someone threw a rock through my living room window while I slept. That's when I quit. I moved. and eventually I left the state entirely. I never found out who those men were or why they chose me. The third experience happened years later. I was driving home late after a long job, exhausted beyond reason. I stopped at a gas station and decided to sleep in my truck before finishing the drive. When I got back on the highway, I started hearing a strange thumping sound from behind me. At first, I ignored it. Then it got louder. Suddenly, there was a violent crash. I looked back and nearly lost control of the truck. There was a man standing in the truck bed, slamming one of my tools against the glass behind my seat. He was moving like an animal, completely feral. I swerved, spun out, somehow managed to stop. When I jumped out, he ran into the darkness. In the truck bed, I found a small trash bag. Wet, heavy, smelled like rot. Whatever was inside, I didn't want to know. I threw it into the woods and drove away, hands shaking, stained red. I never reported it. To this day, I don't know who that man was or how long he'd been hiding back there while I slept.